Hello guys, welcome to my channel. 1.7.2 changes are out, so let's talk about it. Hugo Vlad received quite significant changes slash rework to how he kinda plays, so it's pretty interesting stuff. But we'll begin first with Vivian because it's gonna be shorter, I think. We'll start first with multiplier changes. Feel free to pause the screen for this one because she's an anomaly unit, so I don't think the multiplier changes mean that much for her basic attacks and stuff, but you can read it if you want to. Now let's talk about her actual significant change, which is the core passive. Now, when normal attack falling feather hits a target in ether, electric, fire, physical, or ice anomaly state, the additional attribute anomaly damage dealt has been increased from old scaling, which was 1.55%, went to 6.92%. This is per 10 anomaly proficiency, by the way. Also electric from 0.8% to 3.6%. Overall, these are all very good buffs for her. Fire 2% to 9%, physical 0.14% to 0.62%, and lastly, ice from 0.2% to 0.9%. Let's make sure Miyabi gets even stronger. Smile. They have also changed her additional ability. Now, the damage increase from the corrosion state, I believe it's also called poison in some other translations. So we'll do slightly less disorder damage than before, 15% instead of 18%, but I believe the core passive change is pretty massive, and that's pretty much it. For the rest of their stuff, not that much of a change. Her normal attack, enhanced special skill effectively, you will get more points of flying feather, or actually feather protection. Like that, there is a lot of different names for this, so my apologies for that. There will obviously be an official name eventually. You can hold more points with the normal attack, 5 points, and with enhanced special skill, you will hold 3 points of flying feathers instead of 2. Also, the chain attack will allow you to recover 2 points instead of 1 point of these flying feathers, and ultimate will recover 5 points instead of 4. So with Vivian, at least base kit, it's pretty well buffed, if you ask me, especially the additional ability. I also believe currently in the testing phase, beta, whatever you want to call it, as far as I remember, the physical and ice anomaly didn't properly work with her core passive. Maybe it works now, and we'll get to see some showcases in practice how this looks like. They also have changed, I believe, her mindscapes. Specifically, her mindscape 1 seems to be very strong now. The targets that are under Vivian Prophecy will receive 25% more damage from all attribute anomalies and disorder damage. You should have pretty much good uptime on this, if not at all times. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. This seems quite strong. So a lot of more disorder damage, anomaly damage. Will M1 be a must? Of course not. Even at M0, I think she's going to be perfectly fine. Regarding her V engine, it has been unchanged. Also, they might have changed some of her other mindscapes. Feel free to pause the screen because I don't really want to dabble too much in the mindscapes. I don't like promoting this stuff, especially on the first release of the character. My general advice would be regarding mindscapes is if you really like the character at a later time, you can get it on a rerun, because by then you'll know if you truly like the character. Because I heard many stories from people where they pulled the character with 2-3 dupes or whatever, and then they regretted doing so because they stopped playing the character. Alright guys, now we're gonna talk about Hugo Vlad changes. His original issue when he came out, basically in the first iteration of the beta, is that his numbers were low. So they effectively increased his numbers, and he seems to be in a really good place. So let's start with his multiplier changes. But before that, I would like to let you know that you can subscribe to this small channel. Smile. Thank you for the support. It really helps me a lot. And now let's continue with these multiplier changes. So for Hugo Vlad, his normal attack has been effectively buffed. You can also pause the screen if you want to see the numbers in more bigger detail. Do know that some of the days stuff seems to be slightly buffed slash nerfed potentially. Perhaps they might want to push you to play a double stunner, but even then, I still believe Hugo Vlad should probably end up working fine with the support stun classic type of a setup. His normal attacks, as you can see further, also pretty much got buffed. Abyss Concerto, I think it's called like that now, has been buffed. As for his quick assist, defensive assist, and follow-up assist, they also did receive some changes. It seems seems for quick assist, it has more days accumulation. The damage seems to be the same. If I got something wrong, feel free to point it out within the comments down below. Smile. Also, the assist follow-up attack has received a damage multiplier increase and a days multiplier increase as well. Now we have his special attacks, X special effectively as well. They also have been buffed. The damage multiplier has been increased along with the days accumulation. Enhanced special skill also has been increased further. That's pretty cool. And also do note, very interestingly, they reduced the cost of his enhanced skill. Now it's 40 points instead of 60. I believe this is also gonna play a big part. So I'm very happy to see they did something like this. Yeah, also, as you can see, they did effectively remove his X special 1 attack, and they just kept his X special 2. It is better, even if X special 2 does have a slightly higher multiplier and stuff. Do note that the energy consumption now it's 40 instead of 60 energy, and this plays a big part. As for his chain attack, it has also been, I believe, buffed. It is everything consolidated in 1/ attack. Higher multiplier. Days seems to be also higher. Ultimate did receive a pretty significant buff as well. Now it's 3055% over 1755%. Yeah, I didn't want to go through every single number because it would make the video too long. So feel free to, like I said, pause the screen so you can read the stuff for yourself. His core passive also got changed. This is his first iteration, but actually disregard this one because this has been hotfixed shortly after it came out, and the hotfixed version effectively is like this. Now when you do a chain attack with Hugo, you will increase his attack by 40% for 6 seconds. This is a combat attack buff, so it is very significant. Also, the maximum multiplier increase has been increased from 3950% to 4000%, and the final settlement bonus damage also has been increased from 50% to 60% damage. So these are pretty good Hugo buffs. However, there is one thing they have changed for Hugo Vlad. It is that they removed his additional attack. Well, it's actually called Aftershock in official English for whatever reason. Yes, they have removed his Aftershock, so now you no longer can effectively use Shadow Harmony with Hugo Vlad because he has no longer Aftershocks. So he doesn't really have a dedicated set anymore. I guess it's back to Woodpecker Electro and Hormone Punk, something like that, I guess. They have also changed his mindscapes. I'm not gonna double too much into the mindscapes, but effectively his M1 seems to be different, or at least more simplified than what you had before. You will still gain 1000 points of decibels. I believe that was the same. Actually, it's less than before. And whenever you launch his chain attack, the critical damage of the move will be increased by 30% when the settlement effect is triggered next time. I don't think his M1 is particularly that great. It also has that cooldown of 180 seconds. However, his M2 is where it's at. His M2 is very, very powerful. His ultimate move, ultimate attack, when the final sum effect is triggered, normally Hugo Vlad would remove, or let's say consume as a vampire, the stun, but now you will maintain the stun. It doesn't end, and also the final sum effect, when it's triggered, the move will ignore 50% of defense. So effectively you do a big burst of damage and you still keep the stun on the enemy right afterwards, so you can continue doing more damage. So his M2 is very powerful. Also, the defense ignore part plays really well with his V engine. Yes, his V engine also did receive a change. Originally, his V engine was very underwhelming, if you ask me. I believe it used to provide like critical damage increase for his X special, chain attack, and ultimate, something like that. I believe like 25% up to 50%. I believe if the enemies were stunned or something like that. It was copium. It was really bad. But now his V engine is much more desirable. Sure, the attack has been lowered, which is 20%, but now when you perform X special skill, chain attack, or ultimate that deals ice damage, it has to be ice damage, by the way, the character gains armor break effect. While under armor break effect, the character ignores 30% of the enemy defense when landing a hit. So if you combine this with his M2, you're gonna get a lot of defense ignore, and obviously there's also Nicole, and those type of characters with defense shred that you can also combine. And do remember that Trigger Signature V engine also provides a 25% defense shred, and technically you could combine all those things together, especially I guess with Trigger, and it would be probably very strong. So this character to me seems very strong if you're willing to get his V engine and potentially M2, but even at M0 I think he's gonna perform fine if you have something like Lighter on the account, but you have no options, like no teammates or anything like that. I'm not sure how long or how well this character will end up being. Is he on Miyabi level? As of right now, doesn't seem to be the case. I'm sure a lot of guys want to know that. Smile. Also here I'll leave the picture up for his mindscapes, so you can read the rest of the mindscapes if you wanna read them, if there are any further changes, because like I said, I really want to focus too much on the mindscapes. So yeah, I guess this is it for this video. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to write it within the comments down below. Smile. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like, all that stuff, or you can dislike it if you didn't like it, Saj. And yeah, this is truly it. I wish you a wonderful day and see you in the next video. Ciao.